And we are back with the Vacuous perspective. Another episode, another week, you know. Here we go.
Tonight is going to be a night of mystery, magic and intrigue.
Oh, well, I'm excited.
Don't know why, but could be. Might be.
Just cracked a vanilla Coke. Still off the waters.
Good.
But I have been doing something lately.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, I got so many subscriptions. You know, you got your Disney Plus, you got your Netflix, you got your,
okay.
You got your other ones. There's so many, and they cost money.
Mm-hmm.
But a sub to the Vacuous perspective costs you $0
for now.
Yeah, for now.
And in the near future.
Yeah, and in the near future. But so I've been thinking about that. I've also been thinking a lot about emails lately. I don't send enough emails.
You don't get enough emails.
We don't get any emails, but I don't send any. I don't send enough myself personally.
Yeah, okay. What are you thinking?
I just need to send more emails.
Yeah, who to?
I don't know. But you could send an email to us if you are also in that situation where you're like, I need to send more emails. Like us. Send us an email, vacuousperspective@mail.com.
If you got nothing to do.
Got that out of the way.
Yeah, shoot us an email. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? What did you do? This is the person emailing in, you know. What do you got?
Tell us about what you want us to talk about or give us your vacuous perspective on something. Yeah. Don't do any research. Be just like us.
That's right.
Just start writing whatever you want.
Writing. Yeah,
don't Google a thing.
Nah, don't Google a thing. Well, we Google all the time though, so that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We're Googling on the fly.
Yeah, you're right. And what's going on with you? What's new?
Yeah, well, look, I'm still getting over a fantastic Thursday, actually.
A fantastic Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I just had a great day. Wow.
Yeah. And you're still it's Monday.
Yeah, I know. I'm just got this still
buzzing
from
Thursday.
Yeah.
Right.
So I took it off.
Wow.
Off. I was working from home.
Yep.
Went for a run in the morning.
Wow.
Got a coffee with the dog. Did a bit of work. And then there was the solar eclipse.
The eclipse.
I just saw it get a bit dimmer outside. Didn't
maybe 5%. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit dimmer, around 11:20.
Yep.
We'll get to that, but did some errands. The wedding video arrived.
Oh my God, how was that?
The wife was more nervous for the wedding video than the actual wedding.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair. Okay. I'm sure it's amazing.
It's really good. I'll shoot it to you. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Oh, and you think it's it's silly in a lot of respects, but because you know the people in it, it's a little bit different. Love it. Yeah, and you like editing and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Love all that stuff.
You can judge. You can give them a rating out of 10 how they went. Yeah, no,
not
it's really
openly.
Good. No, just you'll quietly judge.
Quietly judge.
There's all this build up, all this anticipation, and now she's just someone's wife.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to look forward to.
What, is that it, is it?
That's it.
Once you get the wedding video, it's just marriage. What are you talking about? I thought that was good.
Just boring, regular marriage now. Yeah. Settle in.
I'm with you now.
We haven't gotten all the wedding photos yet, so I guess there's still one little thing to look forward to.
One more thing.
After that, there's just nothing. You just have to wait for the divorce and the remarriage.
Or the death. Yeah.
Or that one. Yeah.
There's the till death do us part thing, you know. People put that in their vows, you know. Is that a regular vow?
I think that there is the regular ones, isn't there?
It is grim, isn't it?
Oh, it's so grim. But I talk about that quite a lot, the mortality of it. It is really grim to think that one day it's going to be her or me. It's so weird. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm not like, I don't know which one I want to be. It's going to be one of us though, unless we go together. I mean, is that the best case scenario? Is this the world I live in where the best case scenario is I die with my wife?
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
hopefully there's something after it, right? Hopefully we go on. Or do we?
Well,
then
even if
we're parted at that
exactly.
point.
That's the point. Larry David has a bit in Curb Your Enthusiasm where he's talking to his wife that says, "Till death do us part. I'm not spending time with you in the afterlife. Like, we're done." And she said, "No, we're going to redo our vows so that it's eternal." And
That's
he didn't
not
want,
fair,
and he
is
didn't
it?
want a bar of it. He didn't want a bar of it.
Mm.
It was a bit of a, Larry David thing.
Yeah, well, you don't know what you're signing up to. I don't even know what it's like. It's like saying, let's put conditions and rules in before we even know what reality is at that point.
Exactly. So if there is eternal life, then you guys can make a decision then. And it might be, hey, let's rock.
Might be. Yeah, so this Thursday, right, keeps rolling, made a sweet potato curry for lunch.
Oh, my God.
It's absolutely fantastic. The wife got a dress hire in her business, just a random one. It was $4.20. Made some carrot soup for dinner.
Yeah.
Some good bread. Then we were watching the Boston Marathon bombing series on Netflix. Have you seen that one?
No. That sounds great.
Yeah. So, another more grim subject matter, but very good.
Documentary,
documentary style, 3-part documentary, 1 hour each part. You would have known that 2 bombs went off at the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, of course.
Who knows what, 20 years ago? I don't know. Is it less? 15 years ago? I don't know. Was it 10
it's
years ago? I don't even know.
15?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should know. I just watched the documentary, but
yeah, you should know. Even just
but it
based
all
off
kind
how
of
the
looks the
footage
same. Yeah,
Oh,
but
really?
Look, it was probably 10 years ago then. Yeah, it was probably 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
And what was crazy about it was the manhunt. I wasn't fully clued into what was going on with the manhunt. Like, I knew about the bombings.
We don't live in America, so we weren't.
No.
It wasn't like... It was a big story, obviously. Huge story.
It was. What happened is they identified who they were from grainy CCTV footage of the businesses around where the bombs went off.
Yeah.
And the images of them were about to get leaked to the media. They were umming and ahhing about whether to release the images or not.
Of course.
There's advantages in doing so and there's disadvantages. One is you lose control of the investigation.
Plus, you would be worried that some people would just band together and try and find them to do harm to them immediately.
Yes. And also then they know that they've been outed. They're going to be thinking, I need to stay low. I need to leave the area, whatever.
Bounce, yeah.
And then
you're tipping them off. Yep.
You're tipping them off, and you're kind of now the amount of data that comes in from it's really hard when everyone calls into the hotline saying, I think I saw a guy like that. You get 1,000 leads in a minute.
Yeah. But how many good leads? Exactly.
Yeah. How much is actionable good leads? Anyway, the one media outlet decided got leaked to. They were going to release it. They thought we have to come out on the front foot here. We can't have like Channel 10 drop the images of these people. We're going to have to do it. So they have a press conference.
God. If we don't do it, someone else will. God.
Yeah. And then it gets pretty crazy because they put the full. I think because the guys know that they're in trouble. They've only got one gun. There's 2 bombers. Okay, and they decide. I believe they need another gun. So they basically shake down a cop or something happens and he gets killed in a bit of a struggle. Now they've got 2 guns, but people are calling in saying, hey, I heard some weird shots. I think I heard gunfire outside my house. And they investigate. They know officer down. They start realizing pretty quick that we think these are related situations. They've got a gunman now armed and dangerous, 2 gunmen on the loose. Nightmare situation. They put the whole city on lockdown, which was unheard of back then. Now it's just kind of like, every regular situation every second weekend. And
well, it was for a while there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that so strange to think about? No one's even thought about that in a long time. Not to go away from the Boston thing, but holy shit.
Yeah.
Just the concept that tomorrow we could be in lockdown tomorrow. Really? Again? Yeah. What happened? Don't know. What's happening?
Well, everyone really embraced it because there was a murdering gunman on the loose, and because of all the terror. Yeah, everyone was really on board with it. They were quite worried, and it got to the point they had shut the city down for, I think it was, anyway, a day or so. So they get in this one car. I think they have they have a style of car or something. They're looking for these two guys in a car. They decide we need a new car, classic situation. They pull up on some Asian bloke in a car who's just sitting there. They just run up behind him. One guy gets in his car, gets the gun out and says, you know, you're going to be our driver.
Great.
They move all their stuff into that car and now they're off with this bloke.
Yeah.
They're looking around for these guys everywhere. They don't know what to do, the authorities. Then I don't think so they haven't gone into lockdown, I don't think, at this stage, but I'm trying to recant it as best I can. Then the Asian driver, makes a runner at a service station.
Yeah.
He sees his opportunity. One of them's away doing whatever.
Yeah.
And he just has this moment where he's like, this is my chance. And he just unclips, opens the door, and he says he can feel the grabbing of the other guy from the back seat, trying to sort of latch onto him. And he sprints into this service station to the attendant. They're saying, mate, there's the footage of this, of course. You know, he's going like, mate, he's like pleading with this guy, crouching down, going, there's the Boston bomber guys, in the car. So they realise that they need to get out of there. Now the authorities are onto it. I'm pretty sure the city's all in lockdown by this point, but but they're in the car? Maybe not yet. It ultimately culminates in a full-scale GTA shootout in the middle of the street. They're just pop, 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 pop. They're throwing pipe bombs. They're blowing up cars. And then they manage to get one of the guys on the ground, and the other bomber gets in a car. And when they're arresting this guy, they got like 3 dudes on him. This guy, his mate, just runs straight over him. All the cops jump out of the way. He just runs over him. He ends up dying. And then he crashes the car a couple blocks down.
Oh, my God.
And they can't find him. They can't find the other guy, right? They're looking around everywhere. They lock down a kilometre square. They realise they don't have him. They start locking down further and further. Right, this is where the lockdown that comes in, that's right. And then they ended up locking down the whole of Boston because they're like, we can't have this guy getting on a bus and leaving.
Mm. Yep, lock it down.
Lock it down. That's what you do when you don't know how to deal with the situation.
It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. But it was madness. And then eventually they had to unlock down the city. They had to reopen it. Because the people are just like, well, what do you do? Like, we don't know where the guy is. We've searched everywhere.
Yeah.
And then just when they reopen the city, they get a call in from someone about a block away from where the car was discarded. And she says, there's bloody handprints like into my boat in the backyard, and there's a cover on. And they think, we're on here. And so these cops come back with no lights and sirens or anything. They just come in quietly and they have a look and they see the blood on the boat and things. And they think they don't want to just rip the cover off because they're worried about this armed and dangerous individual maybe inside. So they call it in quietly, just saying, hey, we got a potential suspect in this boat. And once it gets out on the airways, all these cops, because all these cops had descended on Boston from all these different cities to help with the manhunt, right? So
so they would have had like 200 dudes just instantly. Instantly,
they'd surrounded this thing, and it's all from different organizations and things. There's no coordination. And then
but you'd see it all as well from in the documentary, right? You'd see it all.
Yeah. They got footage of all this stuff. And then one of them decides that he can see a nozzle of a gun and must pop off a shot. And once one shot gets popped off, all the cops are shooting. People think there's a firefight, an exchange.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just returning fire.
They're returning fire.
But nobody's
firing.
Nobody may have shot on the other side.
No.
Yeah.
They fired 126 bullets into this boat, and he hadn't fired once. And then they send in like a machine to try and like take they still don't want to approach this boat because I don't know why they just don't go full protective gear.
They didn't yell at the boat, hey, if you don't get out of the boat, we're going to...
They didn't say they did that. No. Eventually they have like a
hey, man,
bomb.
We know you're in there. Hey, buddy.
You think that'd be the starting point?
Yeah. Hey, buddy,
I don't think they ever did that.
There's millions of us around. Hey.
No, they had to chop her up with the infrared. They could see he was still alive in there.
Oh my God.
And he's scribbling and carving and engraving into the boat.
No, he's not.
Yeah, Islamic things. He was unfortunately, he was a Islamic extremist.
Yeah, okay.
And he was saying things he'd been, taken by the,
right. Okay.
whatever, the excitement of it all. And
great.
Anyway, he's in max security prison at the moment, and
he's alive.
He got the death sentence. Yeah, so he's actually alive, and they haven't put him down yet.
Wow,
pretty grim stuff.
That is grim.
Right, but then I watched that, and then I saw Starship launch and blow up.
This was part of your good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did some yoga before that, then I watched the Starship launch.
Yeah, I watched the Starship launch as well. I actually recorded the moments. I recorded sort of me and my brother watching it live.
Yeah. Younger or older brother?
Older brother.
Yeah.
He didn't know I was recording. I just hit the record button while I was watching the launch. I just thought, well, if this is the greatest thing humans ever do, then I've got it. And if it's not, I've got it.
Yeah, well, it didn't make it to the final frontier, did it?
Well, no, but I saw the flight path it was meant to take, which was impressive, by the way it goes through, countries and stuff. It only really crosses through Africa and over Indonesia on its flight path. Misses the northern parts of Australia by a metric shit ton and lands in the ocean north of Hawaii. That was the plan. That was the plan.
Yeah.
So the plan wasn't even to get a full orbit.
No,
it was just to get it up there.
Yes.
And it was going to come down again in best case scenario. And just as the lady on the broadcast said, everything after liftoff was a bonus. They destroyed it. I think it had already suffered a failure that was going to make it, just fall down.
Someone pointed out to me the other day. I didn't notice this, but apparently 3 of the cylinders, the rockets, it's got 33 Raptor engines on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
On the first stage booster anyway, super heavy.
Yeah.
And not all of those fired.
No.
And I think 2 of them conked out during the flight as well. So I think it was 5 down by that point.
Yeah. Were you confused by the loopies? Like it does that loop. Well, it's a new thing it does. It goes for a little loopy just before it does the shooty offy bit for the second stage, where it does the jettison of the first stage. Going into the second one, it does a loopy. What do you think about it?
Well, style points.
It's styling. I will give it that. It is pretty. If it worked, it would have been very pretty. If if it actually worked, that would have been nice. But if I was an astronaut ready to go on Artemis 3, let's go to the moon. Let's go wrap around it and come back.
Yeah, well, that's Artemis 2. Yeah.
If I'm an Artemis 2 astronaut or Artemis 3, I'm not liking that loopy. I'm thinking,
that loop's not supposed to happen, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Really? I've got no idea. I just assumed it all.
No, that was part of it. It's part of its thing.
How do you know that? Are you sure?
Because I was watching the broadcast and I was listening to the man.
Yeah, I thought that they went quite quiet when it was doing some funky, some moves. I didn't think they knew how to describe it. I think they were wondering whether this is part of the plan.
If you look at a diagram of the launch, it has the loop in there. Have a look. Try and look it up.
Yeah, I'm having a look.
Look at it. See if you can find it. I'm going to try and find the video file.
Is that during the first stage?
It's the end of the first stage. It's the end of the first stage.
Portions of the Star... Okay, this diagram illustrates portions of the Starship integrated test flight, including the vehicle's takeoff from Starbase into South Texas. I think that's after the separation it does the loopy, I think.
So the separation was meant to happen...
I think the separation happens then. It kind of does some fancy loop and comes back on itself.
No, it's beginning the flip for stage separation. That's what the guy says. Beginning the flip for stage separation. And I was like, are they going for a flip?
Oh, shit.
And the people are still cheering at this point. They're getting pretty pumped.
Ew!
And then I think Yeah, it's just me talking over it going, oh, geez, wouldn't want to be on that thing, which is true. I wouldn't want to be on that thing.
It was incredible, wasn't it? It was
It
a
was.
pillar of flame. This is the launch. The actual launch off the ground was just incredible.
It barely moved, and then it was quite incredible.
It just looks cool.
Were you watching the SpaceX broadcast? Did you? Was it
I
like
was,
Glastonbury?
Yeah, everyone's cheering.
Okay, so everyone's cheering. Everyone's going fucking mental just before the launch, and they're screaming, they're yelling, and then it gets to like 40 seconds, and the clock stops, and everyone goes dead silent for 3.5 minutes. And they had 5 minutes that they could wait before their window was up or something like that, where they said, yes, that's the limit. And then you just hear one or two people go, wow.
You're always going to get that. Hey,
I know because they know from something, just by looking at the thing, that they're going to go. They're aborting this. They're going to launch the mission. They're going to resume the countdown. They're getting excited again. And then that fuels people like, oh, should I get excited? And then they do get excited because they're resuming the launch, you know.
You'll have to tell me about this. You'll have to look into this flip for separation. My understanding was it just started tumbling and then ultimately they detonated it because it was out of control.
That was after the flip.
Yeah, it was after. But why would you flip?
Dude,
it's
I'm asking
a rocket.
The same question.
I don't think they do.
They do.
I'm not sure about that. It would be style points, but...
flip separation. I'll look it up.
Yeah. But I mean, the rapid unscheduled disassembly is a good way to put it together, yes. Good way to describe what happened.
Yep.
So it got 39 kilometres high, apparently. Yeah, about 4 minutes into the flight. So it survived max Q. The positives, let's look at the positives. Let's not dwell on the...
No, it survived max Q.
Survived max Q, cleared the launch pad. Apparently, if it didn't clear the launch pad and they lost the infrastructure there, it was going to be a bit of a problem.
It was GG.
Oh, not GG, but they have to redo Starbase. Starbase, like one part of it was showing that Starbase operated perfectly.
That's good.
No problems with Starbase. They're like, we can lock that away.
Lock it away. Close the book.
Away.
No, so they're going to launch 30 more missions from there. We're all good.
Whoa. Elon's looking ultimately to be doing more than one a day with the same. The idea is you're going to get the efficiencies and the reusability up to the point where you can use the same rocket. I don't know if they're going to use the same one. That seems a bit crazy. And you constantly, so the super heavy, the bottom stage, will constantly be reused, and you just keep sending up, how many tons of material it can take each time.
Unmanned.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's definitely designed to be fully reusable. And yeah, that's right. The liquid methane and liquid oxygen combo for a fuel source. And that's been chosen with Mars in mind because you can actually get both those components from Mars. So you can source the fuel on that planet.
Ridiculous.
Here we go. Musk envisions fleets of Starships flying multiple times per day here on Earth. Their super heavy boosters coming directly back to the launch mount after each liftoff for rapid inspection, refueling, and relaunch. Such extensive reuse could theoretically bring the cost of each Starship mission down to just a few $1 million, Musk has said.
How much do they cost at the moment?
I don't know. I mean, that one, like billions for the first one? Yeah. That price point would be truly revolutionary. Considering Starship's power, it would be capable of lofting 165 tons, 150 metric tons, to Earth orbit on each mission in its reusable configuration.
But what's it? Can I have something in Earth orbit, please? Yes, you can. Great, it's up there now. All right, thank you. Got your piano up there.
Get all your stuff up there. Yeah, get it up there. Yeah, I mean, we'll figure out what to do with it once it's up.
Oh,
And so the reason why this is important as well is that launch was nearly twice as much thrust at a liftoff than the previous record holder, which was NASA's SLS, the Space Launch System that launched Artemis 1 in November last year. So we've just doubled the thrust.
Doubled the thrust?
Since November.
With those Raptors?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, when you double anything, you're going all right. You know, with this tech.
Are we doubling again and again and again? Because that's going to get scary.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Starship 2.0 is supposed to be, I think, I don't know about thrust, but in terms of volume it can take up, I think it was supposed to be 4 times as much.
Oh, my God. The bigger it gets, the safer I feel it is. Is that true?
I don't know.
When I
why
think
do you think that? Do you think of a commercial aircraft?
I think of a TIE fighter, little flimsy thing.
Mm.
Then I think of a Starship in Star Wars, and which one would I rather be on? The big fucker.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd rather be on the Death Star, but it also seems like a bit of a target.
I was looking at people who have gone to the moon. Moon people,
yeah.
There's 12 of them, I think, that walked on the moon. There's another 12 that have done missions to the moon, meaning they were probably on board the spaceship but did not walk on the moon.
Did not.
Pilots and stuff.
Yes.
And I was watching something about Apollo 12 because I thought that would have a bit of buzz about it. How come everyone doesn't know shitloads about Apollo 12?
Yeah.
They were literally the next blokes to do it, and it was a few months later. So like your Elon Musk thing where he envisages sending up a trip every day up into space at least, not to the moon. NASA's plan in the 60s, late 60s, was to send up a mission 3 or 4 months after the success of the first one.
Yeah.
And they brought back shit tons of, when I say shit tons, I mean, a
couple of hundred.
50 pounds or something of moon dust or whatever it is. Got some moon stuff.
Yeah. Some
they walked on the moon. They did some stuff, like they spent more time on the moon. Because every mission they spent more time on the moon.
Probably got more confident with the gear.
Yeah, when Apollo 12 went back to their lunar module.
The limits, yeah.
They had 40% of their oxygen left. But they thought, no, let's go. I've had a gutful. I've done all I wanted to do on the moon. Spent 4 hours on the surface. You know what I'm saying?
Is that what they do? They just do one moonwalk, or do they come back to the pod, get some more air, and head out for another one? Is that what happens? How long's the lander actually on the moon?
Yeah, not sure. That's a good question. But here's a fun one for you. When they brought the lunar module back to the aircraft, like the thing that was orbiting the moon, it'll orbit like 40 times.
Yeah.
And then they'll reconnect to it, load all the shit in,
get
rocks, themselves back in.
The golf clubs, the rocks.
Pop the golf clubs in, pop the rocks in. Yes, you're allowed to take a couple of rocks. All right. And then they performed the first ever man-made impact crater on the moon by launching the lunar module back at the planet, like back at the moon.
Why would they do that?
To test shit. They're fucking weird scientists. We're like, fucking
was this
make
on
something
Apollo?
Explode.
Was this 12. Apollo 12? Yeah, okay.
It's Apollo 12. So they had seismologists on the ground with telescopes that can measure, shakeage.
Yeah.
Of the moon when they
just drove it into it.
They just sent it back. Yeah, they just gave it a push, and it made a sound on the moon that reverberated for 48 hours, like a bell. They said.
Oh, why is that?
The moon rang like a bell.
That makes no sense.
What do you mean it makes no sense?
I mean, it's
I don't know. I don't know why it is. Yeah.
And it doesn't even have. Does it have an atmosphere? Like, can it?
No. They launched it at it, I think, because they said something like the
like a
impact
bell.
was the power of 1,000 tons of TNT or something, or one ton of TNT.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's not a pushback. That's a fling, isn't it? I don't know what it is. I don't
It's
know what it is.
aggressive. Very
But I
aggressive.
have hit the moon at high speed in Kerbal Space Program, and it's not pretty.
Did it resonate? Did it make a bell noise?
I didn't have the necessary equipment on board the ship to measure such a thing,
Yeah,
nor would it have survived the explosion that had occurred. Because if you imagine orbiting the moon very quickly and then narrowing that orbit until you're going to hit the moon,
yes,
you'll be coming in very hot with very little that you actually need to do from the aircraft's perspective. But so that makes more sense because they've launched it from the orbiting craft and they've sent it.
Yeah, I suppose they're not bringing it back with them, are they? So
apparently not. They're sending it.
You either launch it into outer space and it just keeps going. Yeah, you get to send back some data and stuff. It's not really equipped to do anything deep space missions, though, is it?
No, we just thought we'd contaminate the moon with some.
It seems
shit.
reckless, but I mean, they're the scientists, so
yeah, no, it does, because it was the first thing that ever hit it, and it hit it with such a force that they measured it in some level of tonnage of TNT. So I don't know if that means it was big, but it sounds big. It sounds like we nuked the moon. That's what it sounds like.
It does sound like that, doesn't it?
Just to see what would happen, just for shits and gigs.
I mean, the first scientific experiment was completed by an ape when it picked up a rock and hit it against another rock. That was the first one.
That's science, is it?
Yeah. He's trying to figure out.
It's repeatable.
He's like, what happens when I do this? Let's have a look. Right.
He had no hypothesis, though. Apparently, in your thing, he wasn't trying to prove his hypothesis.
Maybe he thought, what happens when I do this? Right. What I'm saying, it's ingrained in
curiosity
us to just bash things together. We're a big fan. We're big fans of just smashing things together. Big fans. So I am not surprised when someone at NASA came up with this idea and said, hey guys, what do you think about just launching the craft into the moon? And everyone looks around, looks at each other in the eye, starts nodding their head, and they say, this guy's done it.
And we'll get a seismologist to read it? Yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. Let's fucking do it.
They're like, well, we should probably get someone to record some of the data. As long as we're having a collision.
Yeah. Look, if something blows up, I'm cool. Whatever.
Hey, there was, speaking of the moon and the great day I had, there was a rare celestial spectacle on the weekend.
There was. It was on the Thursday.
Yes. A total eclipse of the heart.
A total eclipse of the heart. And you wouldn't read about it. It was very beautiful from up in Exmouth, but in Perth it was, unless you had the glasses, you probably wouldn't have seen much.
Yes.
And if you say, oh man, it was amazing, I looked at it for ages, that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't look at the sun a whole lot.
I don't like to. I hate it.
I respect its privacy.
Yeah.
But this is one of the few times where you probably should invade the sun's privacy.
Just quickly, though.
Yeah.
Many cultures worship the sun as a god. We've talked about sun worship before.
Yes.
The fact that it is so blinding that I can't even look at it.
Look at it.
Does give it a very godly feel.
It does, doesn't it? It's like this thing, it's always there. It's always looking at us. We can't look at it.
It is so bright that people who stare at it go blind.
Wow.
Except for when we have a total solar eclipse, in which case it's safe to view it for 50 seconds. But you're not even looking at that.
Respect the sun. We are descendants of sun worshippers. This is why it's so fascinating, isn't it? And perhaps we're still sun worshippers in some respect. I mean, I am.
It felt like
it felt like it that day, didn't it? Everyone was sort of having a new appreciation for the sun. Let me send you a quick photo. Okay, let me just chuck it in the Discord. It's just the eclipse path. Shit, where is it?
On Apollo 12, the final approach of the astronauts back to Earth, they got to witness something very, very similar to a solar eclipse.
Did they?
And that was the craft was behind the Earth and the sun was directly behind the craft. And it created a a purple ring around Earth. And it's super rare, apparently. I'll have to find that somewhere on the interwebs.
The photo of it.
Yeah, they've got video of it. Okay, I'm seeing this path. Yeah, it gets. I'm confused. Totality. That's the totality line.
Totality line. So the diehard eclipse chasers descended on Exmouth, and that's the best place on the planet to see it. Yes, because that's the totality line, and we in Perth did not get a totality line. No. We got the old, what's that one? A 70%er, apparently.
70%er.
70%
made everything
coverage.
10% darker. Yeah.
So everyone wasn't as good. It did get a bit darker. And so we were all, well, the people in Exmouth at least, were all pointing and looking at the sun.
Yep.
And it is, when you have that eclipse like they had, it's one of those rare times where you can, like you were saying, it's one of those rare times you can look at the sun and you can see its glorious outer atmosphere.
Well, not only that, but just to go back to what I said before, if you were sun worshippers, then you would view this as quite an important event. You would think, holy shit, the gods are speaking to us right now.
Definitely.
This is a sign, if I've ever seen one. So, yeah. It's lost a bit of its magic.
It would be so unusual. Magic, though. I can't believe we didn't go up for it.
I know, it's a good point. But it lost a bit of its magic when scientists go, oh, yeah, there's one coming in 3 months, 2 months. You got one coming in, next April or whatever it is.
Yeah. But, I mean, this one was actually particularly special as well because there's only 7 of this type of eclipse that happen in the 21st century.
That is big.
That is big.
I heard on the news that Exmouth was being, people who were eclipse chasers were descending on Exmouth from all corners of the globe.
Yes.
If you're an eclipse chaser, how many eclipses can we get in a year? Like if you were a vigilant eclipse chaser,
I think there's 7 this year.
7 this year.
Yeah. I think that's right.
It's a full-time gig.
But there's different degrees of eclipses. So this is something I was looking into because I didn't understand what was going on. I heard that this is a super rare type and a hybrid solar eclipse. I was like, what the hell is a hybrid? I had to read like 3 different things to actually discern the nuance in what was happening because this type of eclipse only happens 4.8% of the time. So what it is, let me give you a quick brief rundown on my research. A total eclipse is where the moon lines up perfectly on top of the sun. You get the corona. There is no part of the surface of the sun visible. Got it. So that's what happened at Exmouth. That is a total, and that's not uncommon. I'll get to what. This one was slightly different, but I'll tell you why in a second. Then you got a partial eclipse, which is where the moon takes a bite out of the sun. You can still see some of the sun. You shouldn't look at it, despite it being a bit darker. Don't look at it. If you're going to look at it, put those cool sunglasses on.
Put the glasses on.
Just be. You know how we always depict the sun wearing sunglasses? Yes. You know when you're a kid and you draw the sun wearing sunnies? How funny is it that when we look at the sun, we wear the sunglasses? There's something going on. It's like it's part of the sun worshipping.
Ah, yes.
I think that when we look back on things, people think that the sunglasses is part of the worship.
I disagree. I think sunglasses are pretty much in the culture of Western Australia and Perth in particular. We wear glasses a lot. It's hot.
I think sunglasses are a bit localised to Western Australia.
No, I don't think they're localised. No. But if you go to other capital cities, you'll be shocked. 50% of the people just don't wear sunglasses. Whereas in Perth, it's more like 95%. I'm serious. I'm serious. People don't wear, like, even if I'm in my car on any day, I'm probably wearing sunnies. Sun's hot.
I'm just questioning your data source. That's all.
I'll follow up on the data. I'll get the data.
I believe you.
I'll get the bureau. Yeah. No, I'll find out.
Okay,
I just find it's a very sunglass heavy place.
So we've got a total eclipse and got a partial eclipse.
I think it's, just to make their point, I think it's more practical than worship, the goggles. And we're not looking at the sun when we're wearing sunglasses. It's important to note. They just simply make everything a bit dimmer so that it's more tolerable.
So you got the total eclipse, lines up perfectly. The partial eclipse, taking a bite out of it.
Bites.
Now, there's two types of total eclipses, and that is where the moon lines up perfectly with the sun. Okay? It's funny because the moon is actually 400 times smaller than the sun.
It's good maths, isn't it?
Yes, because rather conveniently, it is 400 times closer.
It's amazing. If the moon, which it was, by the way, bigger before, the moon was bigger before, physically. So that's interesting.
So has it lost some of its mass?
Yeah, it's lost weight. You haven't commented on it, though, so it's getting a bit upset.
How much weight's it lost?
I don't know. I just remember seeing that on a website recently. I'll find the page in a minute.
I wouldn't have thought it's a significant amount of weight.
But if you would have, it's a quarter of the size of the Earth. If you make it a fifth of the size of the Earth, if you make it a third, make it bigger, then the eclipse becomes a total blackout, like a full on.
It would be more like when the spacecraft was in the Earth's shadow, because the Earth's larger, quite a bit larger. I don't know where it was relative to the Earth and the sun, but could be a bit of that. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking if the moon was bigger, these eclipses would be gnarlier, but not as majest with this corona shit you get. Anyway, go on.
Well, this is the thing. The moon's orbit is slightly elliptical. So some eclipses, the moon's a little bit closer and it creates an annular eclipse where, although it's perfectly aligned, there is still a ring of sun coming around the outside of the moon, which you should not look at because it's the surface of the sun.
Correct.
Without the cool glasses.
Cool glasses, wear them.
And that's a ring of fire or an annular eclipse. And it's still perfectly aligned, but because it's a little bit closer than it's 400 times, it's now 401 times closer and there's a ring. So it's not perfect. And then there's other times where it's a little bit further in its orbit and it's a perfect alignment. Yes. And the sun is completely obscured and a spectacular, beautiful corona is then revealed.
Take your glasses off.
Take the glasses off. Enjoy
Pop
yourself.
Them on in a second, though.
So they're the two types of total eclipses. Yes. So there's a total eclipse, a partial eclipse, and within that there's two types of total. There's a fourth type of eclipse, the rarest of all, is the hybrid.
No, this is the rare one.
This is the rarest.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
And this is what happened. There's only 7 in this. Depending on where you are on the Earth, it can be an annular or a total.
Oh, get
because
fucked.
It's right in the sweet spot because the Earth is curved. This is more evidence that we're on a ball rather than a flat. If you see that line of the eclipse,
it's sort of going northwest.
Somewhere on that line, if you are standing there, I don't know where, it's either the beginning or it's probably the beginning and the end of it. It's actually the total eclipse is actually an annular ring of fire eclipse, and other parts of it which are closer to it because the Earth is curved, you're moving away from it, so maybe more towards the poles, you're going to get the annular. But where Exmouth was, they did get a total.
Yeah, they got the banging one. There's probably a spot in the ocean, right, in the Indian Ocean that's slightly better.
Well, how's it better? Longer? Well, you could get longer in time.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to stay in a place where there's, campgrounds and hotels and stuff nearby.
Oh, yes.
But maybe the best eclipse is in the water. off the
Get a boat
coast
out
of
there,
Western
yeah,
Australia. Yeah.
Chevron, Barrow Island, Australia's largest gas project, that got a longer eclipse than Exmouth, but they don't allow anyone to come out onto Barrow Island even for the eclipse.
No.
Yeah, so Exmouth got 57 seconds apparently.
Yeah, amazing.
With the glasses off.
Yeah, they were syncing Pink Floyd at that bit. It'll be playing the song Eclipse on Dark Side of the Moon.
Yes.
So they queued it up. It's pretty cool.
Did you see some people dancing around on the beach there with they had a black pyramid on the beach?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, just get really occulty with it if you want to. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, why not?
So check this out as well. I'll just send you another photo. Get real.
If you're going to do your stuff, you got to do it at the eclipse.
So this is a photo of it where you can see the corona.
Yes. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can see that's the atmosphere of the sun, and there's a lot of energy and magnetic.
The moon's fucking big though, hey? Moon's so big.
It's pretty big. Did you hear about, because there's a lot of eclipse talk going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Just under a year from now.
Yeah.
You know, everything's bigger and better in America, or at least they claim to be.
Always. Yep.
I heard they were a bit jealous of our eclipse that we had. They were very jealous, and they thought, fuck them. Right, they're nothing on us. So they've scheduled the Great American Solar Eclipse.
They've scheduled it in. Shit.
Yes, 8th of April, 2024.
Big one-up.
And they're one-upping us pretty seriously as well. We see how it just touches Exmouth, and so we have, maybe a couple hundred square kilometres where you can see the eclipse.
Yep, I see that. Are they smack bang somewhere in America?
Well, see how it runs across, the eclipse moves, the shadow of the moon will move across the earth.
Yeah.
They've got one that is the path of totality is going for 198 kilometres along America.
Oh.
Running from southwest Texas to northern New England.
No.
Get this.
No.
The duration of totality will vary from nearly 4.5 minutes in Texas to over 3.25 minutes in Maine.
Wow. And you get on the road in Texas and you just follow it? You just get in the car and drive.
Get on Route 66 and just go.
Yeah, and just go as fast as possible and keep up with the moon.
So we have 2,800 people that live in Exmouth. So that's how many people naturally live there that we're going to experience the totality of the eclipse.
Yeah.
An estimated 32 million people live inside the totality path. And countless millions more are anticipated to travel into the path in the day leading up to what has been called E-Day.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
It is. There's going to be a lot of commotion about that next year.
Yeah, get on the road. Let's go.
And they can have the sunnies off for 4.5 minutes in Texas. They're going to be absolutely just cheering.
They probably are partial to sunglasses in Texas.
What's the percentages there, by the way? Do you know if
it's got to be high? It's got to be high. It's got to be 80s. It's got to be high 80s. Easy.
So sunglasses and snakeskin boots. Is snakeskin boots a cowboy thing, or I don't know, whatever they wear? Boots, animal boots.
30%. Speaking of percentages, we played in a poker tournament on the weekend, and it came down to the final two. And it was me and you.
It was mano a mano. We were throwing haymakers at each other.
Yeah, it was a deadly table.
Absolute haymakers.
Yeah. No, that was good fun.
Yeah, it's good. And congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You played very well.
I'll take it.
It was a pretty brutal game.
I got lucky. Yeah, I got lucky with it once or twice. Just need to get lucky one more time.
I think turning over aces against Queen 9, where I've had that bad luck happen to me in the past with that exact hand, aces versus Queen 9.
You had aces.
I had aces.
Both times.
Yep, both times. And then the opposition player had Queen 9. And the first time they did win, it was the first hand of a tournament. I was very upset. And the second time, this time, he turned it over. He said, I know you're going to be sick about this because he knows about the Queen 9. And he turned it over, and I turned over the aces. And that's when I started to feel sick.
Oh, you have to, don't you? You're reliving. They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but you can see it happening.
So, no, but it got up. Wild. And that was when I was short stacked in the tournament. So I was a bit worried about getting knocked out. I'm not number one. I'm not my mum. I'm not the best in the world.
No. How is her title defense going?
I don't know how active she is at the moment.
Does she still have XP boosts?
She's got billions.
She's still got them. So why wouldn't she be with all that XP boost? She's constantly playing boosted, right? She's always.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she's vigilant with her boosted. She was for a little while.
She's basically doping.
She would, yeah, exactly. But she has, I think, more than she could possibly use. Meaning the rate at which you earn, I think, will always be more than she'll use. Plus, she's playing in all the big tournaments.
This game seems flawed in that respect. Like, how can you always have more? How long was she playing and accumulating XP boosts?
Yeah, well, a long time because she called me up one day and she said, "What's an XP boost?" And I said, "I don't know. It probably just gives you more experience points." And she said, "Oh, I don't know what she said. I think she said something like, I've got 150 of them or something." And I was like, "Oh, well, use them. Fuck it. Use them. They're not doing anything. Just use them." I don't know if that's when she made her run to become number one. I feel like it was around then. But, man, you got to use everything at your disposal, don't you, to be the best.
To be the best. And so what have you done with all your winnings? Like, how do you feel now? Do you feel different now that you're a bracelet winner?
Yeah. I forgot the trophy.
Oh, you forgot the trophy.
Yeah, nah. It's a bit of a Costanza move.
It's a power move as well.
Always leave something behind. No, but I feel like the tournament's going to travel, so the trophy can travel with the tournament, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to do that, so
yeah, I'll have people over for it.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Hey, there was something else pretty spectacular actually on the weekend.
Yeah, it was a big week.
Yeah, actually, it was this morning.
This morning?
Yeah. Do you have any friends in Tasmania?
No.
Well, if they were up at 5:15,
yeah,
the Aurora Australis popped off. Absolutely popped off. Look at some photos. It is today, this morning. Apparently tomorrow morning, it is going to be conditions are as primed. It's the best. They're calling it the best display. People, seasoned Southern Lights watchers are calling it the best display they've ever seen.
Pretty wild stuff.
They say it's easily visible to the naked eye, very vibrant and bright colours.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel lucky to be alive. The things I've seen about people have said about this.
Yeah.
Never seen so much colour in the sky before.
Yeah, that's scary stuff.
People said their hearts were still racing from excitement.
Yeah.
Got more quotes. Completely blown away.
Wow.
Mesmerising.
Wow.
The photos are nuts, right?
The photos are nuts. But I can imagine doing this and seeing this and then going, yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Reds, pinks, purples, greens, blues, yellows. Man, these southern lights are way more colourful than northern lights. The northern lights seem to be restricted to green, maybe some purple.
Are we getting dicked again? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the Aurora Australis seems to be less consistent and less often, but when you get it. And they're getting it tomorrow. We need to get the episode out. We need to warn some people.
Right. Tell them that the best Aurora Australis is just down the road if you're in Tasmania.
Of your life. Amazing. I was actually blown away by some of those photos.
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular. But I'm always worried about experiencing the best thing of my life. Do you know what I mean? Like meeting a whale up close, or this, a beautiful starry night. No, because you don't want to have done the best thing already. You want that around the corner. You want that later.
That sounds like people they want to save everything for when they retire and they die at work.
Yeah, I know those guys.
Mate, just meet the whale.
Yeah, meet the whale, talk to the dolphins.
Look at the stars.
Get the stars on. Go out in the rain.
It's raining here right now.
I'm not going out. Hey, I got a quick one.
Yeah. I was just going to say, who knows? We could be brothers. Did you hear about Woody Harrelson and Matty McConaughey?
Yeah, they related?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Is this? Do you know this is potentially their brothers?
Yeah, that sounds pretty normal, right? Isn't Larry David related to Bernie Sanders?
Really?
Yeah, and that just looks exactly. That's why it's funny.
Apparently, McConaughey's mother says that she had some kind of relation with Harrelson's father 9 months before.
I mean, the math checks out, doesn't it?
The maths checks out.
That's usually how I do the maths.
I believe it's 273 days.
It's around that.
Gestation period.
Yes.
It's pretty weird, right? Because they're long-time friends. So it'd been like you and me, your mum dropping on you, hey, I actually knew Nate's dad.
Yeah.
9 months before he was born, or you were born.
Yep.
What a spin out, right?
It is a bit of a spin out. Are they going to do True Detective, like another True Detective season together?
Oh, I would love if they did. That was so good. That's 100% worth a watch. If anyone has not seen that.
I think they are actually doing that, by the way.
Really?
I think they are.
Is Vince Vaughn going to be in that one as well? Is he just going to just jump from season 2 into season 1 with them?
Nah. They're their own thing. I like Vince Vaughn.
What I like about McConaughey is he has completely flipped what I thought about him. I mean, I'm not really judgy. I love him. I loved him.
You just think he was in
the day.
Yeah. But I don't really know any of his early movies.
Dazed and Confused,
Yep.
That was his first one, right? I'm okay with that. I didn't even know about that until maybe more recently.
But what did he get famous doing?
Well, he was in Contact.
Yeah.
But then he became the rom-com man.
Yeah.
And then this is the problem I had with him. I felt like he was just a good-looking sort of dude. He was in movies that I didn't really watch.
So what turned it for you then? What did you watch? True Detective?
True Detective, but Interstellar, Wolf of Wall Street. Come on. These are badass roles. And you know what the first one was? Dallas Buyers Club, where he was that fucking AIDSy dude.
I was talking to a guy the other day, and he said he got a letter when you know how they're doing a crackdown on the people who downloaded Dallas Buyers Club?
I didn't know what, just that in particular.
The copyright owner, the cinema, they sent letters to people who downloaded torrents and stuff.
Really?
And tried to get them to pay money. And it was a bit of a...
Really?
It was a bit of a landmark thing in Australia, because it was around the time where they were talking about whether or not ISPs should be protecting their customers or giving information to these companies.
Wow. Has there been any other movies that have been a hit?
It was that one that they really had a crack at, but I don't know if other people have really
precedent.
tried.
It wasn't very successful then.
It wasn't very successful. There was probably a couple of movies in there as well.
Yeah, but he's the comeback king, because he went from, The Wedding Planner. He had a decade of rom-coms.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I can only really think of one cover with him on it, and it's with that lady. What's her name?
I don't really know the rom-coms. My wife would know. My wife would know them all. She'd list them. What's he done? Okay. I'll get that up later, but who really cares, to be honest? So I thought he was just a bit of a, to be honest, he was a bit like Leonardo DiCaprio for me. I thought he was just a heartthrob that couldn't act. And then he showed me what's up, right? Like Interstellar, fantastic. Oh, he just went on a tear. He went on an absolute tear.
Yeah, I had a similar thing with Robert Pattinson, the guy who was in Twilight, because when I was growing up, I just thought he was the Twilight guy. And I thought, he's shit. I hadn't even seen a Twilight movie, but I just didn't like him. And then I saw
was it Robin Pattinson?
Robert Pattinson. He's the Twilight guy.
The Twilight. Okay, I say I've only known him in that.
Yeah, no, but he was in what's the movie with Tenet? He was in Tenet.
Okay, I've seen
and
that.
Tenet was awesome.
Yeah,
and he was awesome in that. And it turned
I
me on
remember
him, and I
being
just
confused.
thought,
I remember being very confused in that.
What, with Tenet?
Yeah,
it's confusing.
Yeah, it's all. That's the one when they're going backwards and stuff, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I might need to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll watch it backwards and it'll make more sense.
Yeah. Watch it backwards.
Because then I get to see the parts of it, some parts of it in the right way.
I think that you'll probably find something in there, maybe the hidden meaning of the film if you watch it in backwards. Maybe even the audio is in backwards. Makes sense. There was this guy.
Maybe an Easter egg, do you think? There could be an Easter egg in there?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Satan,
there's been a lot of...
Satan...
there's been a
Satan
lot
prayer.
of albums and stuff that actually have purposely done it, where they've put in backwards stuff so that if people try and play it backwards, they will get something that makes sense. People
What's
have done
one that's purposely done it?
Yeah, no, heaps. There was a Killers song that did it. I'll shoot you a video after this, or we can do a bit more of a thing on it because it's quite interesting.
Yeah, because I remember people saying that there was
Stairway
like a
to
Jimi
Heaven.
Hendrix or Stairway to Heaven, and it's so loose. It's so I don't think it has a lot of legs.
There's one that claimed that if you played, this guy, there was a guy in America who claimed that he had a tape recorder that was only playing things in backwards. So he was getting annoyed. He's like, I want to listen to my stuff in forwards. But then he realized that it was all giving him secret information. You know, it was all.
Was he a bit nutty though?
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we speak in forwards, but our consciousness speaks in backwards.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's an example of Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. He says, it's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I'm going to step off the launch now. That's what he says, right?
Yeah.
In backwards, it's something like, no, man, never spacewalked, no.
See, I would need to hear, okay, I would have to hear, I want to do the reversal of that. Like, can my program do that? Like,
you just, you just record stuff, put it at negative 100%, and you'll hear stuff in backwards.
Yeah,
so why don't you, when you were finished today, record a 1 minute thing about your day, maybe just talk about your day for a minute, and then play it in backwards and see if it tells you the hidden meaning of today.
Wow, okay, maybe I will.
The consciousness, what it's up to. Yeah,
that's my homework for this week.
That's good homework. Yeah. You know, we should play it next week if there's any interesting bits in it. Hey, oh shit, maybe it is for real. You know,
Oh man, I went down I had the day off work today. This reminds me of just what you're saying. I went down the biggest rabbit hole.
That's great.
Oh, not really, but I'm not insane. I'm not insane.
You're not insane?
I'm not insane. I don't think I am. But I had a moment of insanity.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Something sucked you in. That's
great. Yeah. It's something you gave me, right? So I watched. I finished watching. What's that YouTube video you sent me?
In plain sight. Secrets in plain sight.
Secrets in plain sight. Okay, and I was like, there's a lot of I think there's some stuff in there that is worth looking at for sure. There's some good stuff in there, and there's a lot of things that I have trouble really making the connection. I feel like he's reaching too much, and if you condense down that 4-hour video, but you kind of need some of that context, but you got an hour there of stuff that I'm really interested in, and then there's a few things that I maybe just don't fully understand what's going on, but I feel like he's reaching. True.
I can understand that. I wouldn't. I don't think I've watched like 4 hours of it. You know what I mean? I know.
I was enjoying it. Every now and then he gets on.
His voice is annoying, but it's still interesting.
That doesn't bother me.
No, I like him.
I wouldn't recommend it to people, but I like that kind of stuff. And it touches on like lots of just things of like maths and culture and art and geography and things like that. So I just kind of like get around all that stuff. Yeah. I found a lot of it historically. I just found a lot of it interesting. I don't agree with all his deductions.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what happened is he draws a lot of lines where he extends points. So he'll
I know it. Yeah.
He takes like so there'll be like for example, there'll be an obelisk and there'll be a a road leading to the obelisk, like a main road that clearly, and then if he extrapolates that road and connects things.
Yes.
Right.
Draws lines across the planet. Yeah.
And so I just had this moment of insanity, and I was like, hey, what do we have in Perth that I can like draw a line from? Or what thing do we have? And I thought, what Mason?
You got the
Masonic
memorial at Kings Park.
Yeah. So I just got that, and there's of course a road leading up to it. That's clearly like it's really
directional that it's facing.
It's directional, yeah. It's like a big. It's got circles. It's kind of got like a couple of other things on it. And I drew a line there, and then I started. Okay, for a second I was starting to get freaked out because direction it was heading was towards Egypt. Yeah, and I was like, holy shit,
that makes sense.
But turns out I couldn't get it exact. It's the very southwest corner of the Egyptian country. It doesn't line up with. I thought for a second it was going to line up with where
Giza?
Osiris was born in that temple, or thought to have been born, because other things in France point to that location. And I was actually about to lose my mind, right? Anyway, I don't think it lines up with that. It's close. It's a couple degrees off. It's very, very close.
That's amazing.
So anyway, that wasn't so exciting. But then I turned it. I thought maybe it's looking out on something over the river. I'm just going to be insane. I'm just going to draw a line. And it actually connects perfectly with the Masonic Lodge in Victoria Park.
There you go. That is interesting.
And it goes right over it. And I was like, that's pretty weird.
Interesting.
It's pretty weird.
What was there first?
The Masonic Lodge was there first in 1901.
Yeah.
And then 2 Masons built the obelisk.
Yeah, no surprise.
That's no surprise. Like I knew that. Like I wasn't surprised when I Wikipedia'd that.
No.
But it goes right over a old lodge. But the lodge has like nothing much to it. It's like it's one Temple Street in Victoria Park.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Pretty cool.
I love it. It's so funny.
I thought, and I was like, what am I doing? I was
You're going insane.
I was like, I'm going insane. I got to stop drawing lines and it's just being weird.
That's what the guy's doing. He's just sitting on Google Earth. And that's what he says at the start of the video. He's like, join me as we travel around Google Earth.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I did find that kind of weird. Yeah. But you know what I did is you're sort of working backwards. Is I got one screen up with Google and I typed in like, basically Freemasons and got some key points like that. You get on in Perth, it will sort of say things that are Freemasons temples or whatever. Yeah. Buildings, things. And then I kind of looked at what could possibly be on the line. Yep. And then but it went right over it. I was like, I had to sort of, that was pretty weird. But I'm not perfect at drawing the line either. Who knows?
I'm a fan of drawing lines on the internet. So
yeah, I just had to close it down because I was like, where?
Yeah. You were going to pull your hair out.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out. I did have to check which one came first, and now I'm Googling about lodge information. So they don't have a lot of information out there, but
Yep. Excellent. The Washington stuff's way more fascinating than the lines we draw on Perth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Hey, there's some big. Unless you have something, there's some big news.
Yeah, go on.
The scientists are always up to things.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What do we got?
Always up to their games.
No, I don't like them these days. I think they've gone too far these days.
Well, this one's kind of a bit more chill. They've sequenced the genome of the humble fava bean.
The humble fava bean.
Fava bean.
The fava bean.
AKA broad bean, as you may be familiar with. Commonwealth countries call it a broad bean. It's a fava bean or a fava bean. And you might be familiar with Hannibal Lecter.
Yes.
What's he say?
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Is that what he had him with? And then he goes...
And a nice Chianti.
Oh, and a nice Chianti. Jeez.
Yes. So they've sequenced the genome of the fava bean.
Is this good?
Well, what's curious about it is it has a massive genome of 13 billion base pairs. which is 4 times larger than the human genome.
The bean.
The bean. The bean has a very big genome. A lot of genes.
And is that good?
I don't know. It's a bit curious.
Yeah, it is interesting. But what are we doing with them? I mean, once you sequence the genome, what can you do with it then?
Well, I think you can like make them grow better. I think you can sort of analyze.
You can't synthesize it.
Well, I'm just want to give you a bit of history of the broad bean that I've come across. So it's one of the most ancient plants in cultivation and also among the easiest to grow. However, the wild ancestor has not been identified and the original is unknown. So it's very old. It's very, very old. We don't really know where it came from.
Right.
These scientists note in the article that fava beans are naturally high in protein, fibre and iron, all nutrients that many people in the UK need more of. They also note that it's a great cover crop because it's a legume that fixes nitrogen into the soil rather than extracting it out, and it survives winter well. So what you do is you have your crops for the summer and things like that, but then when those crops aren't in season, you put your fava beans in and they deliver a lot of nitrogen into the soil, and it's a source of, you can eat them.
Right. Eat them or put them in the...
Yeah, just whatever you want to do with them. But it begs the question, okay, what's up with all them base pairs?
Right. What do you think they're up to?
At the end of the day, we don't know. I think we have a bit of a sleeper on our hands.
Oh.
I think you'll agree
with
me.
Put the robots to one side.
I think we've got a potential problem on our hands.
A threat?
Potential threat. It's really positioned itself as one of the great beans, has it not?
Well, we deemed it worthy of sequencing. So that's our value we're putting onto it.
It's taken a long time. We haven't actually identified it as a threat yet, but now we're starting to look into it because it's, it's good for humans, it's good for the environment. It's really positioned itself to be almost indispensable in some ways.
So are you suggesting that legumes are evolving to be required?
Not necessarily. I'm saying we don't know where it came from. And we don't know why it's being so nice to us.
Right.
And we don't know what all this copious DNA has in store for us. We got a real schemer. It's scheming. It's scheming.
You don't trust it?
I don't trust it. It's high in protein, fibre, iron.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it?
Sounds like a one-stop shop.
It is a one-stop shop. It's fixing nitrogen in the soil. Everyone's cool with it. But, I think we might have a bit of a water situation on our hands again.
Right. Hey, we were talking about it on the weekend. About glasses of water.
Yeah.
About drinking glasses of water. A friend of ours was saying he doesn't think you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day.
Oh yeah, he's on board. Yeah,
and we were talking
agrees
about
with us. He agrees with us.
We were talking amongst ourselves about it, talking about urine colour, and we did talk amongst ourselves for a few minutes before we engaged the only medical professional in the room to ask for their opinion, and they agreed. They said it depends on a lot of things how much water you need to drink. Yeah. And I've found a website. Talks about common myths that people believe.
Here we go.
And number 6 on the list is you need to drink at least 8 glasses of water every day. Now, because I can't remember what our friend said on the weekend, I'm going to read this out.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, I'm going to paraphrase it, to get your 8th glass of water every day, don't feel bad. The quota isn't really a hard and fast rule for healthy living. According to the Mayo Clinic, which I believe...
The Mayo Clinic?
I believe...
They love mayonnaise.
Specialise mainly in mayonnaise. The amount of water you need daily depends on several different factors like your overall health, your activity levels, and where you live. No single number applies to humans across the board. Some people may be perfectly hydrated with fewer than 8 glasses, and others may need more. And for more things you might be getting wrong about your body, blah, 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 blah. Right. There's a few on this list, though. It's really good.
Yeah.
Bulls get angry when they see the color red.
Is that? Yeah, no, they don't.
That's false.
False. Yeah,
that's number one. That's the number one thing
people
believe.
They're just angry by nature, aren't they? They're just angry at anything. I think you hold up a red flag and they're like, "Get that thing out of my face." Yeah,
so it's actually not the color that's important. It's the movement of the blanket that entices them, which makes perfect sense. You know, can you imagine a matador out there with a green one and he's flapping it as much as he flaps the red one?
He would just look like a complete idiot, wouldn't he?
And the bull would go and do its jam.
Oh, the bull would smash him. The bull would charge right at him. It'd say, "Get this flappy thing out of my face."
Women accused of witchcraft were burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials. False.
False?
False.
False?
False.
Can we believe this character?
Well, it says, according to history, most accused witches during the Salem witch trials of the late 17th century were hung. Now, while others died in jail waiting for their trials. The myth that they were burned at the stake is most likely due to the fact that the medieval witch trials in Europe did burn some at the stake.
Okay.
They did do it.
But not the Salem witch trials. I don't know where Salem is.
Is that America? Here's a good one for people who live in Australia and elsewhere with nice climates is you'll get cramps if you go swimming right after you eat. False. It's not true.
Not true, yeah. Cramps? No, don't think so. Might get a stitch.
That's not actually the myth, though, is it? The myth was, if you eat 30 minutes before swimming, you will die.
Sink to the bottom of the pool. You definitely. You don't have a chance in hell.
Instantly.
No one once has swum and gone in the pool in less than 30 minutes and survived. That's a fact.
And it's all 31 minutes after your survival chances increase by 100% just to start with. Yeah. Dogs only see in black and white. Obviously false.
Is it?
Apparently, according to this. Yeah. No, they can distinguish between colours. And I've seen, I think, a dog, distinguishing between a red and blue button. Have you seen those before? There were dogs that can. They have what's called like a dog talk pad. So there's all these things that the dog can ask for at this pad. If he presses one button with his paw, it goes, "Food, please."
Yeah.
If he presses another button, it goes, "Water, please." If he presses another one, he goes, "Play, please." Get the ball. Give me the ball. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they trained it to do this. It's quite possible they're doing it off colours.
Push the buttons. Yeah.
To know which
colours are
push.
still shades. This is what I've wondered when they say can't they still detect shades? Like a red shade would be different to a blue shade in black and white. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah.
It's still going to look different. Like if you keep getting him to push one button, they'll know that it's that one.
Are we going to put that in the unconfirmed pile?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that. Any others?
There's heaps. It takes 7 years for your body to digest chewing gum. Myth. False.
Oh, so it's an old wives' tale, is it?
Probably just to stop people from having chewing gum because, if you had to tell someone, if you wanted to scare someone who was a kid who, ate too much chewing gum and was sticking under the school desk, right, constantly, you might want to tell them it takes 7 years to digest that shit and then see if they stop doing it.
But then they'll stop sticking it on the desk. They'll just swallow it. It's probably a good thing. We should probably tell kids that it's fine.
Right.
That's why
people were putting it under the desk because they were scared.
Yeah. Right. We should actually tell them it's fine. We need to get this out there.
Yeah, get this out there. Yeah. Gum's fine.
But would you blow a bubble with your butt if you farted? Is that possible?
I'd say so.
If it's coming, presumably it just comes straight out. Presumably it takes 2 days to work its way.
Yeah.
Through, right?
Yeah.
I'm just guessing because if you swallow like a marble, Weren't you shit that out in 2 days or 1 day or however long it takes? Yeah. So you swallow the chewing gum, same deal, right?
Yeah. In fact, like most of the time, chewing gums have like diuretics in them, so they'll make you shit it anyway. So you just shit it out. You shit it out straight away. So your gum's not in your body for 7 years, so don't sweat it. You don't have fucking 14-year-old gumballs.
So we shouldn't be worried about gum, is what we're saying. I think because we were talking about the potential threat of the legume and the fava bean. I think we need to apply defense readiness conditions to potential threats. Okay, I didn't understand DEFCON levels very well, so I recently looked into them.
Yes,
DEFCON 5 is the most chill of the defense readiness conditions.
Right, okay, DEFCON 5 is chill mode.
Chill mode. It's the exercise term for this. I've got a little table is fade out, and its description, lowest state of readiness, and the readiness is normal readiness. So DEFCON 5 is just you're chilling. You're fine, right?
What the hell is normal readiness?
No, just be ready. Just be ready.
I'm ready.
Just ready for action, okay? But don't be too ready. Relax. Just be ready.
Yeah, we're not at full ready.
DEFCON 4.
Yep.
Exercise term, double take. Description, increased intelligence watch and strengthened security measures.
All right, so +10 to intelligence, +5 to security. Great.
Yeah, and the readiness column says above normal readiness. So just a bit more.
Get your normal readiness base and up it.
Whatever you were before chilling.
Don't do that.
Get on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, at least lock on a bit. Lock in.
Perform a double take. Just make sure that make sure you're ready. Just make sure of it because you don't know what's going to happen. No. DEFCON 3, exercise term, roundhouse.
Oh, shit.
Description, increase in force readiness above that required.
Intelligence. You need the intelligence buff. Now you need the force readiness buff.
Force readiness buff. Increase in force readiness above that required for normal readiness.
Right. So you need more readiness. So you're really ready.
Well, in fact, Air Force ready to mobilise in 15 minutes. Is DEFCON 3. So you've gone from edge of the seat to the Air Force has to be ready to mobilise in 15 minutes.
They're getting involved.
So you make some calls. Make some calls. Because I think the fava bean should be in DEFCON 3, actually.
You think the Air Force should be involved?
Well, I think they should be ready to be involved. They should be ready to be involved.
Right. Send it.
Gum, I think we're probably looking at more of a DEFCON 5 situation. Normal readiness, don't really worry about it. DEFCON 2, exercise term, fast pace. Description, next
more
step
readiness.
to nuclear war.
What?
Next step to nuclear war.
What? Is that DEFCON 1?
That's DEFCON 2.
Next step to nuclear war.
Yes, the next step. So from the Air Force being ready.
So what are we at now?
We're at DEFCON 2.
No,
next step.
No. We're not, though.
No, we're not. Well, this is just what it is.
Right.
Readiness, armed forces ready to deploy and engage in less than 6 hours.
Right.
So the Air Force is presumably in the air by that point.
Yep.
DEFCON 1.
Right.
Exercise term, cocked pistol.
Okay.
Nuclear war is imminent or has already begun.
Okay.
Readiness level is maximum readiness.
Maximum.
Immediate response.
Immediately.
So now you're out of your chair.
Oh yeah. Now you have to move.
So I think we need to apply DEFCON readiness levels to the threats that we identify in our dealings.
They need
going
a new DEFCON
forward.
Actually.
Yeah.
We need a new
DEFCON
DEFCON
6 or a DEFCON?
No. DEFCON. I'm going to call it a Z.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because the head of Space Force today said that we need to start looking at threats from outside our Earth.
Interplanetary death threats.
Interplanetary threats. Apophysy ones.
Yeah,
so that should
interplanetary.
We need a new
DEFCON.
DEFCON because that's not a nuclear war.
Well, it could be, but I mean that's the least of our worries.
I guess it will be.
But how do you get more readiness than maximum readiness?
You got to find that extra fucking 10% of readiness that you didn't even know you had.
110% readiness.
You've been so ready the whole time that you didn't even realize what ready is.
You were born ready.
Now
the
you're
DEFCON
ready.
Z.
Now you're ready. Now you're Will Smith. Now you're saving the planet from an extraterrestrial threat, and then slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Yeah, that's really a DEFCON 1 type situation. Immediate response, maximum readiness. Yeah. Okay, so I've just popped up Wikipedia because I just want to check. So September 11 attacks. What DEFCON level do you reckon they went to?
Oh, it'd have to be 2.
They're on standby for 2. It went to DEFCON 3.
Wow.
It was lowered to 4 on September 14.
Wow, lowered it.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there's a DEFCON 2. There's been 2 DEFCON 2 moments.
Wow.
One of them's pretty obvious, I think. Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962.
Yep, DEFCON 2. Yep.
DEFCON 2. Ordered to DEFCON 2 whilst the rest of the US Armed Forces remained at DEFCON 3.
Right.
And then there was the Persian Gulf War in 91. The Joint Chiefs of Staff declared DEFCON 2 in the opening phase of Operation Desert Storm.
Yep. Q8, right?
Yeah, Persian Gulf War. I don't really know much about that.
It sounds like boots on the ground, though.
So, I mean, the fact we haven't got... Look, I mean, all I'm saying is this fava bean it has a lot of unknowns to it, a lot of genes. It's doing a lot in the background. It's got a lot of information.
Look, it doesn't hurt to ask questions. And,
I just don't think we should be taking... a psychopathic fictional character in Hannibal Lecter enjoyed fava beans. Isn't there not something to that?
Linkage, right? You're looking for the link there.
I think we should have
You're drawing more lines.
We should have a good look at Chianti. The Chianti is a bit of an issue as well. Hey, I have heard some bullshit, a conspiracy theory. I mean, I'm going really deep today, aren't I?
No, you can go. You can go there.
It's a conspiracy theory about Hannibal Lecter. Okay, so someone did the analysis, probably someone that's on this particular medication, but a very common class of antidepressants are called monoamine oxidase inhibitors, or MAOIs.
Yeah.
Apparently, high tryptamine foods don't interact well with them. And, coincidentally, liver, fava beans, and red wine are all high tryptamine foods. So, when Hannibal Lecter says to Clarice that he ate his liver with some fava beans and nice Chianti, they think that...
He was getting high?
No, he's secretly signalling to Clarice that he's not taking his meds. Because if he were and he had that meal, it would be fatal.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Someone obviously commonly has those antidepressants and they know that you can't eat that stuff.
Doesn't it just show that he wasn't on those antidepressants?
Yes,
yes. But
I suppose he was eating people's brains. So at that point, you would assume he's not on them, right? Like if you're eating someone's liver, at that point, you're probably not on your meds.
Probably not, yeah. But I didn't even know he had meds.
Well, he seems a little bit,
Yeah, but he's also, isn't he a psychiatrist himself?
Is he?
Yeah, I think that's the whole, yeah.
He gets in people's heads, that whole thing?
Yeah. Hey, you should watch the show. It's actually pretty good. I think you'd enjoy it.
What show?
Hannibal Show. The Hannibal Show.
Oh, the show.
Yeah, there's a show. And Mads Mikkelsen, who you might know as being just the bad guy from everything for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
He's in it as Hannibal.
Oh, okay.
So it's not...
he's
not. Younger. The character who is in Red Dragon, played by Edward Norton, it's him when he's younger. I think his name's Will or something. But no, it's a good show. I actually quite enjoyed it, but I watched it many years ago, so I don't know if I need to go back.
Okay.
But I think, it's quite good. I think you'd like it.
All right. I mean, you kind of want Anthony Hopkins at in some sense. But
yeah, but if you can't get him because he's an old man, unfortunately, I mean, I think people will sell their digital likenesses for all eternity soon, and you'll be able to make movies with them forever until the end of time. So
you'll just be able to apply a digital skin on them, a bit like we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly the same. You want another myth to close it out?
Yeah, please.
You swallow 8 spiders a year when you're sleeping.
I've heard that. That's
not true.
Yeah,
it's not true.
Thank God. Thank God.
You don't need to worry about that spider creeping into your mouth at night because it's not actually one it's not 8 per person per year. There's just one bloke who eats 8 billion
to bring the average up.
So it's actually one a year, or he eats 64 billion spiders. So it's just averaged.
Yeah, that's a gross one. I'm not a big fan of
that. The fact says that they wouldn't want to crawl into your mouth when you're asleep.
Is that the stat whilst you're sleeping, is it? Yeah. I thought it was just 8 spiders in your life.
No, they were all the myth is always when you're asleep.
Okay. Because I always thought that I could imagine a spider just getting into my food, one just dropping in from the ceiling. Like one nearly got you the other day.
Yeah, just dropped down.
Yeah.
And I flies and stuff, they've flown into my face before. I could easily see that happening.
I could imagine one just getting minced up with my other food and down the hatch. Just a little one, just a tiny little grain of rice one.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got. I'll talk about the high nematodes next week.
Ooh. Cliffhanger. Got some cliffhangers.
Mm-hmm. Have to wait for next week. You have to tune in. Send us an email.
Cracking your knuckles too much will cause arthritis. Myth. So, apparently. It does have a disclaimer here. However, cracking too often may weaken the strength of your grip. Not to mention aggravate people around you. So keep that in mind. But until next time, we'll see you. We'll get back to you.
Get some more myths.
Yeah.
All right. See you, bud.